Welcome. I'm Adam Miller, a consultant with the Art of Applying and a graduate of the University of Virginia's Darden School of Business. Today we've got a quick question about how to decline an offer of admission to any kind of graduate school. So let's take a look at what the client asked our consulting team. They write in and say, when I decline an offer, do I need to email anyone or is it okay if I just decline on the portal? So before we get into the back and forth of what another client and then our consulting team respond with, let me just say that yes, it's totally fine for you to respond on the portal, but if you have built up any relationships with anyone at the school or on the admissions team, it's also totally fine if you would feel more comfortable sending them a quick note. You don't have to do this. Certainly earlier on in the process when you were finding out about the school and you just had any interviews or submitted your materials, that might be a good time to thank them for the time and the opportunity. But right now, if you've already gotten to the point where you've decided you're going to go elsewhere and they have a button on a portal that says accept or decline, you can just hit the decline button because the sooner you do that, the quicker they can give that spot to someone else. So there's a second follow-up question, and then we'll get into a little bit of the back and forth. They say, I'm also wondering if I should follow up with American. So they're looking at the policy school there, I believe, since I'm no longer going to go there. They never responded to my earlier emails about clarifying why I was asking for more money. Basically, they wanted additional financial aid. So I'm not sure if it's too late to follow up about that or if it would be rude to simply decline on the portal. So they had a side conversation going about, how much financial aid they were going to get. That didn't get resolved. And now is it okay to just decline, or should I try to also send a note and wrap up that additional conversation we were having? So I'm actually going to skip down to where we have our consultant respond, and it's Kenesha, our founder and CEO. She says, it's totally fine to simply decline via the portal. Go ahead and do that ASAP if you're 100% clear and you aren't going somewhere and you are 100% done with scholarship negotiations with the school that you plan on actually going to, right? Because if you've got two offers, and one school is starting to tick up how much financial aid they're going to give you, but you want to go to this other school, it might be helpful to keep this one in your options, because you might be able to use it as leverage for how much financial aid the school you really would rather go to is going to give you. But if you're done with that process with all of the schools, then it's totally fine to just decline here and accept there. And so that is basically the answer to all of these questions. But I do also want to point out what one other client chimed in with, which is she goes, oh my God, this is very helpful. I'm following this thread. I'm struggling with this as well. I got reached out to by UVA, my alma mater, for a call with a current student. And I said yes to the call. So basically, schools will try to convince you to come to their school by continuing to set up time with admissions people or current students or alumni or donors or whoever they think might make you feel already at home in that particular program and in that school. And so in this case, this person has been put in the position where they don't want to go to UVA, which, no offense, don't take any offense to it, but the current student and them have set up a time, but they don't want to go to UVA. They'd rather go to a different school. So she says, but I know I'm likely not going to go there. So I feel bad denying her call now because I haven't officially declined. So what should I do? And that's actually a little bit tricky because in general, if you say you're going to have a call with someone, it's nice to be respectful, and you certainly never know what may come of that conversation. Maybe you'll learn something really important just in general about, a conference or maybe a career path that person's exploring. You never know why that connection might be beneficial, but I'm sure you have a lot going on if you've gone through this entire process now, and you're probably getting excited about the other school you plan on accepting at. So I think even though you haven't yet declined UVA in this case for that person, I think it's okay to cancel that call and say, you know what, I don't have time right now. Can we look to reschedule later on? Kick the can down the road. And then once you're ready to hit the button, which if you already are at this point, maybe it's right now, maybe it's go ahead and just decline and cancel this call. But if you need a little bit more time for whatever reason, then I would just cancel the call for now and reschedule it for 3 weeks out, and then cancel when you get to a week or so out and explain that, hey, look, I'm not coming to the school, so I don't think it makes sense to have this conversation. If you don't want to have that be the moment where you start letting people know you're not going there, right? Because it's not that current student's responsibility. They're just doing this courtesy call because they got a call like that when they were coming to Darden or the policy school, so probably Baton in this case. And so they're not going to be offended by the fact that you want to move the date or that you want to cancel the call, because people apply to multiple schools and you can only go to one of them. So in general, you want to wrap things up in a respectful way. And if they have a simple way to do so, it's totally fine to just go ahead and hit whatever button they have on the portal. So that's it for today's question from the Q&A vault. Hopefully you found it informative and a little bit entertaining. And if you want any help getting into or negotiating any offers with your dream school, please don't hesitate to reach out to us at theartofapplying.com.